Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with selections for Saturday, the 11th of March. But first, a quick recap on Friday's performance. Well, unfortunately, it was a late video, so some of you will have missed out. Well, you haven't actually missed out because it was a slightly losing day. We had 15 on, £10 return. The first one ran a decent race. It finished about 6th, paying first 4. The next one came placed at 33 to 1. Couldn't quite get any other big prices with them, but then the last two came placed, which meant we had an okay return. Like two-thirds of our stake was returned, so it gives us a bit of extra ammo for Saturday. So Saturday could be an excellent day's racing, or it could be absolutely dreadful. And I think we're probably going to guess which one it's going to be, because there's plenty of rain and plenty of frost knocking around. So I'm going to give you the selections now. I don't believe I've taken a single price on the horse racing. Anything can happen. So what I've done with the horse racing is I've looked at past winners of the race, past winners of the race by trainer, horses with decent chances, and they're all mixed in with different bets. It's not particularly where I've gone for a trainer only bet. It's one of the meetings I've stuck to the entire meeting is all the selections are from one entire meeting. So let me get into it. I'm not going to talk you through the selections. I shall talk you through the bets. And then I shall get onto the football bet where I've had an extra bet. So let's get into it. So the first bet is a 50 pence each way Trixie and a 50 pence each way treble. The first selection is Baldomero in the 130 at Wolverhampton. I was just about to say paying 4 places instead of 3, but it isn't. It's 3 places, but there's a bit of a money back special, but I've not really gone for that. I've gone for the horse. Baldomero, I think, has got an excellent chance. The second selection is War in Heaven in the 5 past 2 at Wolverhampton, paying 5 places instead of 3. This is once again another Mick Appleby trained horse, and is very good around. Well, it's very good on the all-weather, full stop. And these are quite valuable races, so I definitely think is going to have been eyeing these races up especially. And the third selection is Secretary in the 5 o'clock at Wolverhampton, paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse has been running okay, and it's actually currently a co-favourite of 4. That's why I've left the price. But once again, I have noticed that it's quite funny really, because this horse is also, I think it's first time visor again. When I say again, I mean we had a good result on Friday. Well, in the breeding, there was also another one. I can't remember if it was like a full brother or sister won the first time it was visored or cheek pieced. Well, if that's such a word, cheek pieced. Well, this horse is also receiving first time headgear. So I've gone for it for that reason, but I do also think it's got a bit of a chance anyway. So that's a 50 pence each way Trixie and 50p each way treble. So let's get rid of that. So as you can see, there are different stakes here. This is part of the bet below. So I'm going to scroll back up very shortly to talk you through it. So this bet now I'm showing you basically what it is, that's right, yeah. It's like a Yankee. But instead of going for like a 20 pence each way Yankee, and then it's 20 pence each way doubles, 20 pence each way accumulator, I've actually gone for higher doubles and gradually staggered the stake lower. So it comes to a tenner in total. So these are 60 pence each way doubles, 25 pence each way trebles, and a 40 pence each way fourfold. And this is all the same bet, or all the same selections. So the first selection is Arctic Row. I've left the price, so it's currently favourite. It wasn't when I put it on. It was about, I think it was about 11 to 2, but it's all of a sudden it's 4 to 1. Nick Alexander, I think, had a five timer on the card last year. So I definitely think he's probably targeting a few of these races again. So this is one of his horses. He has got 2 in the race, but I don't fancy the other one. So Arctic Row at SP in the 135 at Air, paying 5 places instead of 3. And by the way, every single selection on the horses is Sky Bet once again. The second selection is Bella Blue Sky. I've left the price in the 2 at air, paying 4 places instead of 3. That's just telling me I need to delete some of these videos. So the third selection is Serious Ego at SP in the 320 at air, paying 4 places instead of 3. And the fourth and final selection is Nice and Easy. I've left the price in the 355 at air, paying 4 places instead of 3. So that's that bet. And as I said, it's 60 pence each way doubles, 25 pence each way trebles, and 40 pence each way fourfold, and it comes to a tenner. The next bet is this bet here. So it's 10 pence each way Canadian, 20 pence each way doubles, and a 40 pence each way fivefold. No. And once again, it comes to £10. So here are all the selections. This is at Sandown. You could class this as the main bet, although it's still the same stake as the previous bet. But so the first selection is Crebberley at SP in the 150 at Sandown, paying 6 places instead of 4. The second selection is Jello at SP in the 225 at Sandown, paying 7 places instead of 3. In my honest opinion, this is kind of the nap of the day. Not because it's like the biggest fancy to come placed. I think it's like the biggest dark horse. It ran a stinker last time. But I honestly believe this horse is absolutely crying out for horrible ground. And if Sandown gets the go ahead, it's going to get exactly that. I don't think it liked the good ground or good soft ground at, I can't remember the race course. I think it was maybe it was Sandown last time, but I think the ground was too quick for it, and it didn't want the 2 mile 3.5. Although it has ran well over that distance, but I think today's trip on awful ground will be right up this horse's alley. So that is like the main fancy of the day. The third selection is March Wind in the 3 o'clock at Sandown, and that's in a national flat race. That's first 3 only. It's one of the outsiders. The fourth selection is Move the Chains in the 4 at Sandown, paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse, I didn't fancy it last time, and actually went for a horse that ran well, but this horse actually beat it, but this horse came second. I think this horse has been targeted for this race, and that last race, bearing in mind it was held up a long way off the pace, and it allowed the front runners to get away. I think this is this race that this horse could be potentially aimed at. If it runs well, it could go for the Midlands Grand National. It's the Saturday after Cheltenham. So I know it's a quick reappearance, but if it wins comfortably, it could quite easily go for that race. And the final selection in this bet is Keep Wondering in the 4:45 at Sandown, paying 4 places instead of 3. So let's get onto the football bet now. So what I've had is, this bet comes to a tenner. So I've had £6 over 2.5 goals treble. The matches are Swansea versus Middlesbrough, Bolton versus Ipswich, and Crystal Palace versus Man City. I've done something I don't like doing, and I've gone for the R5 kickoff in the Crystal Palace and Man City match. I like to normally have them all at 3 o'clock. And as I said, there is another bet coming up. So this one's a £2.75 goal treble, over 3.5 goal treble, and it's Swansea versus Middlesbrough, same teams basically. Swansea versus Middlesbrough, Bolton versus Ipswich, Crystal Palace versus Man City. And that's not for a team to win, that's for the match to be over 3.5 goals. And finally, one of the biggest returns of the day, if it comes up, is a £1.25 over 4.5 goals treble. So basically you need all 3 matches to be 5 goals or more. It's a very nice return. And it's the same team, Swansea versus Middlesbrough, Bolton versus Ipswich, and Crystal Palace versus Man City. And that's a £1.25 treble. Then, there's actually 2 extra bets. I've had an outright bet on the teams to win their matches, and that it's the same matches as above. So I've had Middlesbrough to beat Swansea. I've had Ipswich to beat Bolton, and I've had Man City to beat Crystal Palace. That's a £3 treble, and that makes £17. And finally, I've had a £2 treble, and this is basically what it is both teams must score, and the team that I've selected must win. So Ipswich, both teams to score. It's called result and both teams to score. Basically, Ipswich needs to win. Both teams need to score. I'm making this sound so confusing. It's not. Both teams need to score at least one, but Ipswich must win the match. And this is a £2 treble. Middlesbrough, result and both teams to score. So basically, both teams need to score and Middlesbrough need to win. And finally, Manchester City, result and both teams to score. So basically, Man City need to win and both teams need to score. That's a £2 treble, and it makes £129 if it comes in. So those are all the bets for Saturday. If there's carnage in the horse racing where there's loads of meetings off, I might have another look at the all weather for Chelmsford and also Hereford. So the very best of luck. If you can give this video a like, if you're still knocking around, give this video a like. This will be the last big bet before Cheltenham. I know I said Chelsea then. The last big bet before Cheltenham. So the Cheltenham video will probably be released Sunday evening. So the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.